You're telling me the builder made the building.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, look around you. We
Yeah.
see design. We see things that are
Okay.
created with purpose and specific functions. This is design. You can infer things existing without seeing them. If you lived in a world where there was only one building, you would never, 100%, and you can tell me, you would never ever say, there was no builder for this building.
Because you have been recorded, go on to read.
I don't care.
No, I'm
Turn
just
all the
saying.
cameras
Go
away.
on. Physical presence in front of me.
Yeah.
Can you see physical presence of what you call creator?
Do you require the 1 second?
Yeah.
Do you require the
Yeah.
physical presence?
Yes, you have to be able to prove him. If you don't prove him, so how can you say he exists?
Let me. Okay. Show me your brain.
My brain, what I'm talking to you about,
No.
is a concept
No.
of my brain.
I
What do
don't
you mean?
want-
Hold on.
I
Hold
don't
on.
want- one second.
No,
I'm getting a point. Let me make
This
the
is a
point.
wrong
Brother,
analogy.
let me make the point.
Because you said show you your brain.
yes.
I'm just telling you
Let
what
me make
my.
the point. I'm
I'm just
making a
showing
point,
you.
brother. Let me make the
You
point.
asked the question, wait for the answer.
I haven't given you a.
No, you
I
said
asked
show me your
Okay,
brain.
show
So
me your
wait
brain.
for the answer.
Okay, show me your brain.
I'm talking to you. Yes.
Show me your brain, please.
Hold on. I am talking to you, and what I'm saying
I
to
need
you
the
is
physical presence.
product of my brain.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay.
And my
So,
brain
now
is
let
in
me
my
understand-
head.
let me
I
understand-
can,
let
if
me
no, hold
understand.
on.
One
If
second,
I
one
break
second.
my head open,
One
no,
second,
you're
one
not
second.
waiting for the answer. If I break my head open, or if I break somebody else's dead person brain open in the lab, yes, you can see the brain inside there, so I can show you the brain.
Right, let's deal
Can
with
you
this.
show me God in the same way?
Let's do this. Okay. So the first thing you said was that you see something because of the product of that thing.
No,
Are you going to take this back?
Yeah, no.
So the way
no,
that, no, one second.
but I
Let me
can at
finish.
the same
You have to
time
let
I
me
can
finish.
I can break it
You
open
have,
and
you
show
have
it
to let
you.
me finish my
Yeah,
sentence. So the first thing you said to me was that the way that you see
Yeah,
the creator, the brain, your brain,
yeah.
is because of the product of that
Yes.
thing. Yes.
Yes.
Is that right?
Ye-
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Go ahead.
so in the same way, now we're talking about concepts. In the same way,
Yeah.
we can infer. So what you're doing is you're inferring
Yeah.
your brain existing because of the product that you're assuming is a product.
I'm not assuming. I know it is product of my brain.
We'll come to this
Yeah,
knowing
go on.
in a bit. You're making an inference of your brain existing,
Yeah.
even though you cannot see it. From what perspective? Because of its products. Now, what I'm saying to you is, when it comes to dealing with the creator, we apply the same approach.
Okay. Can you break somewhere open and see the creator, like you break my head open and see the brain?
So show me your brain.
No, hold on. If I die, it's stupid for me to kill myself right now and open my head.
Let me give
But
you
if we
an
go,
example.
if we go in a lab and see a dead person and break his head open, we can show you. I can show you a brain.
Okay, no, 1 second.
And
I'll explain.
that's the same thing. Hold on. That's the same thing. But can you do the same to God?
Let me explain to you now. So you said to me that the way you know your brain exists is because you're talking to me.
It's product of my brain.
How do you know this?
What do you mean? How do I know?
How do you know that what your words you're saying to me is a product of your brain?
Come on.
I'm asking you a question.
It's 21st century.
I'm asking you this question.
And I'm answering you the
Yeah.
question. In 21st century, now we know that brain is being tested in the labs, many different labs all over the world, time and time again, and they know we think through our brain. Decision we make is because of our brain. If we don't have brain, if you have an accident, and your head damaged, not yours, let's say my head.
Anybody's head. Yeah.
Anybody's head gets damaged,
Yeah.
that person may not be able to talk or say anything because his brain has been damaged.
And what does that prove?
Hold on. I'm just telling you how brain,
What
why
does that
we
prove?
know. I'm just telling you why we know our talking,
No.
our thinking, everything is from our brain.
Okay.
Because of the reasons. If someone had a head injury, most probably he will not be able to talk properly. Most probably he may not be able to think properly. But if somebody has an accident and his arm breaks, he can still talk.
Yeah.
His leg break, he can still talk.
Yes,
he
yes,
can still make decisions. Even if his heart gets injured, as long as they can pump the blood in him or her, that person can still talk and make decisions.
Yes.
But anything happens to anybody's brain when they have he or she has accident, will not be able to make decision maybe. So this is why, this is how we know our thinking and our talking is product of our brain. Show me the same way your God.
Okay, so this is straightforward. So one of the things you're saying is that you see things because of their products. Yes?
Not necessarily.
That's what you said.
No, we're talking about our brain right now.
We're not. One second. No. We are talking about how to prove something that you don't have in your hand to show me. So you said, Abdullah, I can see him. You said
seeing not necessarily.
Let me finish my sentence.
On.
You have to let me finish my sentence, otherwise we're not going to have a conversation, right? You said that you knew Abdullah was there because you could empirically see him.
Yeah.
This is what you said, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, show me your brain. And what you did was you switched. You said, oh, if I go to a lab, I can open someone's brain.
Yeah.
And I can show you the brain.
Yeah.
But then that person is not talking.
Yeah.
So you're making the assumption. You're saying, oh, well, actually, science has shown that if you damage the brain, people can't talk well. So therefore, the brain is causing the talking. And when I open something, I'm thinking that this is the thing that's talking. So you're making assumption about causality.
Not assumption.
One second, let me finish my. You're making the claim it's known, isn't it? Okay. So in the same way as we can infer things can exist.
Yeah.
Without empirically seeing it, you know that your brain exists. You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's the honest answer. You know your brain exists, but you haven't seen it. That's the honest answer. If you want to be honest, it's up to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know because of experience. I know.
Okay, so
I know because of many experiences.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate experience.
But do you know God because of your experience?
Yes.
How? Show me. Show me your God.
Can you? Experiences are not things you can show to people.
No. I just proved.
One second.
Listen.
One second. Let me finish my sentence.
I know brain. That's the thing.
No, you haven't.
Yeah?
Which experience are you showing me?
I just proved
Which
to
experience?
you, and you accepted it.
Accepted what?
Accepted that we know brain does the thinking.
No.
We talk because of our brain.
You're not answering the question.
You accept, and you said, turn the same thing to God. So that means you accepted what I told you.
So this is the problem that we're having, because you're not. Either you can have the conversation and discuss it, or if you want to make the thing. So the assumption that we are making is that you need to see something physically to be able to know that it exists.
Not necessarily. Seeing, not necessarily proof.
That's fine.
Seeing, not necessarily the proof. Good. And I tell you why.
That's exactly the point I was making.
No.
That's the point I was making to you.
Because you see many things and it doesn't exist.
Okay. So that's.
But as long as you can hold on.
Yeah.
Proving is like you see mirage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does mirage exist?
No.
Okay, so seeing does not necessarily mean proof.
So why did you bring that as a requirement in your first thing?
No. I said
did you
not
have my
necessarily.
No.
But at the same time.
So what's your name, by the way? What's your name?
Irrelevant.
No.
My name is.
Make something up.
Mehdi.
Okay. My name's Imran.
Imran.
So now I'm asking you the question, Mehdi, right? Why is it that you brought the empirical thing, seeing?
Yeah.
As an example, when you're saying that seeing is not the reality, why are you saying
I said it has proven in the lab.
No, the lab is not irrelevant.
I said if you go to many labs,
you've just
and they hold
listen,
on. Listen.
Mehdi, listen to me. One second. If you're saying to me, you said to me initially, you said two opposite things now.
Yeah.
Tell me which one is right. You said if empirically you see it, it means that's how you know it exists. Now you're saying you're not necessarily seeing is believing.
Yes.
So which one is it that you're going to...
Hold on. But I told you about my brain or anyone's brain.
Yeah.
I said it can be proven in the lab.
What can be proven in the lab?
Brain. That brain does the thinking. Brain
How do you know
makes
this?
you talk. Come on, in 21st century, tell me how do I know?
Do you know the difference?
Brain.
I'll tell you the one. Let me ask you a question. Do you know the difference between causality and correlation? Do you know the difference between
You tell me.
I'm asking you a question.
You tell me.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that you don't know because you're sort of asking me to
tell me.
So because
Tell
you see,
me what causality is.
No, this is what I'm explaining to you. So I'm asking the difference between correlation and causality.
You tell me the
So
difference between correlation
if I put
and
wires on your
causality.
head, wires all over your head
Yeah.
to measure electrical activity,
Yeah.
and then I have a conversation with I see things moving.
Yeah.
What does that tell me?
Listen.
I'm asking, Mehdi, you asked me to
Go on.
explain. I'm explaining to you.
Yeah, go on.
What does the electroplatility tell me about your thinking?
You tell me. You are putting it on my head, so you have to tell me what does it tell you?
The only thing that can happen from that is I can make an assumption about this is related to the thinking. Do I know what the thinking is from the movements on the...
Nowadays they can tell some of
No,
the
they
thinking.
can't. They can't tell.
Nowadays
They cannot tell.
They can tell some of the
no,
thinking.
no,
They
there's
can
only-
tell what the monkey thinks.
No, they can't tell what the monkey
With the
thinks.
monkeys
They
and
cannot
mice,
tell.
they have done it, and they can
Mehdi.
tell what they...
Who is they? Tell me. Show me.
Scientists.
Who?
They.
Which scientist?
I cannot
Show me the study.
name them right
Because you're making
now.
things up, Mehdi, with respect. You cannot tell what someone is thinking by looking at some electrodes moving up and down. You can't tell that. What you have to do is you have to make a correlation. You have to ask the person, when we saw this thing move on the monitor, the electrodes,
Yeah.
what were you thinking? And they say, I was thinking about coffee.
Okay.
Then you say, okay, can you think about coffee again? And then you check.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, this other thing that was moving, what were you thinking about then? I was thinking about ice cream. Can you think about ice cream? Now, if you separate those two things, if I just see the electrode moving,
Yeah.
I cannot tell without the person telling me what they were thinking, what this means.
Yeah.
This is called correlation.
And after.
and-
Okay. Go
One
ahead.
second. So there can be you cannot prove that the thinking is because of what we're seeing in this thing. You can't prove that. All you can say is there's a correlation. Now, I'll give you another correlation that isn't true. I'll give you an example of a correlation that isn't true, yeah? Every time there's an accident,
Yeah.
there are these vehicles we see that are yellow and green and square.
Yeah.
So every time there's an accident, when you go there,
Yeah.
you see these vehicles that are yellow and green and they're square, but like vans.
Okay.
And they have the word ambulance written on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you getting at?
Yeah? So someone can see these two things occurring at the same time. The accident is happening, and then you see the vans that are yellow and green appearing at the same time.
Yeah.
And you make the assumption that these are related to accidents. So this is accident, either involved in or part of the accident.
Okay.
Is that true or false?
What are you getting at? What does it have to?
okay,
What
I'm
does all this has to do
I'm
with
telling
it,
you.
proving that God?
Here we go.
There is
See,
a person.
hang on a
Somebody
sec.
is called
Wonderful,
God.
wonderful. This is good. Because the point was that because you drifted off into the brain section. This is why we're talking about correlation.
You broke the brain. You said, how
yes,
do you know your
yes.
brain exists?
And
Now
then-
you're telling me I drifted off to it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I accept what you're saying. But the whole point here is that the point is that you can infer things existing
Yeah.
without seeing them.
But
Have you been to Paraguay?
But experiment because of experiences. Like if I tell you who made that building,
Yeah.
you say a builder.
Yes.
Yeah. An engineer.
Okay.
How do I know an engineer built that
Great,
building? Because many times in my life I have seen engineers
no.
planning.
That's not the reason.
No, listen.
That's not the reason.
Okay, listen.
Brother,
planning,
Mehdi,
no,
this is not the
listen.
reason.
Listen, planning things and making buildings. So therefore, if I see a building, you tell me who made it. How do you know who made it? I say engineer because of my past experiences.
Okay, wonderful. So what
Yeah?
about
So
now?
how can you
Okay.
say the same thing about creator?
So if you look around, all you see is design. All you see is create things that
no,
yes.
you show
yes.
me design. Where is the design? What design? By who? What is design?
So first you have to see the design.
No, what
See-
is design?
Who made this building?
A builder.
Which builder? Who?
I cannot tell you the specific
Okay, so
builder, but
one
I
second.
can tell
So
you a
Mehdi,
builder made the
don't
building.
ask me who when you need to ask me what.
What?
You're telling me
Okay.
what? You're telling me the builder made the building.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, look around you. You
Yeah.
see design. We see things that are they're
Okay.
created with purpose and specific
Okay.
functions.
Okay.
This is design.
Okay.
You can deny design.
Have you seen the same thing?
One-
Have you seen
one
the
second.
same? Listen,
Let
I
me finish
just
my
want-
sentence,
okay,
Amandi.
go.
So when you see design,
Yeah.
then you have to have a designer, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about what now,
Okay.
not who yet. We'll come to the who later.
Okay.
So when you look around and I see things that are working in a way that's functioning and they're designed to mesh perfectly together, whether you're talking about DNA, whether you're talking about how the water gets on a 200-foot tree, how the water's starting in the ground and getting to the leaves and evaporating, whether you're talking about how things grow, whatever you're talking about,
Okay.
grass, geology, whatever you're
Okay,
talking
and
about,
you
the
say
clouds.
the designer who
This
did
is
it,
a
yeah?
this is a functioning, balanced system that is designed.
Okay.
We see design.
Okay. Have you seen same as I've seen different builders building different buildings? Have you seen different designer building the universe many times? That you are assuming a designer has made our world.
Okay, let me ask you.
Have you seen other
I
worlds
understand.
been made by different
So
designers?
are you asking me?
So you're assuming.
Okay,
hold on.
okay, Hamadi,
so
I
you are
understand.
assuming that the same designer or different designer has designed our world.
Let me understand you.
So
let
you
me understand
cannot do that.
So let me,
showed
Mahdi,
you
let me understand.
Okay,
you.
yes.
So if you see one building,
Yeah.
one building standing in the desert, no other buildings exist. You see one building, yes? 5 stories high, everything is there. You're going to say, I'm not sure if a builder made this.
Why would I say I'm not sure?
Because there's only one building.
No, in the desert, I've seen the buildings made by builders other places.
Mahdi, I'm giving you an example of your scenario.
Okay.
I'm giving you an example of your scenario using your metrics. There are no buildings on this planet. There is only one building.
But we're not on such a planet.
But
we are on a planet that there are many buildings.
I'm talking about your thinking process.
No.
And what you're doing is you're running from the conversation.
I'm not running.
Okay.
You're just saying on a planet that there is only one building.
Yes.
No, we are living on a planet that there are many buildings.
Mahdi, I know this.
So-
But you have to listen to the conversation
go on.
question I'm asking you. This is called avoidance.
No,
So you can avoid
no,
if you
I'm
don't
not
want to.
avoiding,
If
I'm
you
just
don't want to,
telling you that you are going wrong.
I will
Go on.
explain to you. If you don't believe in what you're saying, that the reason you believe that all the buildings are made by builders, different builders, because you've seen many different buildings being built, you don't believe this. And I'll tell you why you don't believe this. If you lived in a world where there was only one building, you would never, 100%, and you can tell me, you would never ever say, there was no builder for this building. You would never say this. Tell me. One second.
Listen.
Deal with my question.
Living on a.
Mahdi,
Hold on.
Mahdi, deal with my question.
No.
Don't avoid my question.
No, because that's a wrong question.
I'm asking.
Wrong question
Mahdi,
doesn't have answer. If you
Mahdi,
make a
answer I've
wrong
given you.
question, why would I answer a wrong question? Your question is wrong.
Okay.
Because if
Alright,
we
that's
are
fine.
living on a world
Yeah.
that there are many buildings and there are many engineers,
Okay.
and we've seen all these engineers
Have
building
you,
buildings.
which ones have you seen?
What do you mean, which one?
Tell me which engineer you've seen.
My own house was built by engineer.
Yeah. Okay. One.
Okay.
Tell me any other buildings. Who built this building over here?
Come on, maybe,
Who
but maybe
built the building?
that. Hold on.
Tell me
maybe-
who did it.
Okay, maybe that
Who built
building was built even before I was born.
Yeah, so who built it?
Who
built
hold
it?
on. I know a builder.
said, unless you have seen it.
The only way I can find that, okay, I can go to city council and find out the name of the engineer.
So
And
you don't-
even
you don't
maybe
know.
get
You don't- you don't know.
maybe
Okay, you
maybe
don't know.
even get his
Okay,
photo.
you don't know.
Yeah?
Okay, you
but
don't
what
know.
you're saying
Okay,
is,
you don't know. You
No.
don't know. That's fine. You can say you
but
don't
I
know.
know a builder. Yes,
Mahdi,
I know
Mahdi,
a
listen to me.
builder
Okay,
building.
so Mahdi,
don't-
but the reason, the problem you made is, this is the thing. You're saying we've only got one universe. We've never seen other universes being made.
No, maybe there are
one
other
second.
universes,
Well,
but the one
Mahdi, listen to me.
have you seen
Mahdi,
universes
this is
built by
Mahdi,
God?
this is the illogical thing. You're saying we've only got one universe. We've only got one building. So we haven't seen many universes or many buildings being made.
No, have you seen many buildings
One second,
being
listen to
made?
me.
So
Your analogy I'm taking along.
No,
Your
that was-
analogy.
my analogy
your-
was the
your-
truth that
your-
there
no,
are
it's
many
not,
buildings.
It's not. Your analogy is incorrect because
Don't tell me why is it
you're
incorrect.
making the claim that if you're making the claim and you're denying this, I'm surprised. You're saying that if there was only one building,
I'm not
I
saying
would
if
not.
there was only one
listen,
building. We are on in
Mahdi,
a universe
Mahdi,
that there are many buildings.
Can we finish our
So your question
Mahdi,
is the wrong
Mahdi,
question.
let me finish my sentence.
Unless you ask the
Why are
right
you worried?
question, I will
Why
not
are you
answer
worried,
the question.
Mahdi? Why are you worried?
I'm not worried.
You're worried because you're not letting me even finish my sentence.
Go on, carry on.
You're making the claim that if there was only one building in the world, you would not believe it was made by a builder. That's the claim you're making. It's illogical. It's illogical.
No. You
Illogical.
put it. I never said that. You've been saying that all along.
So
I
tell
never
me,
said that. So
if there
don't say
was-
something and say I said it.
This is what you're saying. This is an
I know.
analogy.
I said there
I
are
will tell
many
you.
buildings.
I'll give you that. I'll
and
help
we
you.
know. No. Because you have been recorded. Go on.
I don't care.
No, I'm
Turn
just
all the
saying.
cameras
Go
away.
on, watch them again.
Let's turn the cameras
go
away.
On,
I don't
go
care.
on,
Mahdi,
watch that. You
Mahdi,
realize
Mahdi, listen to
you
me.
are the one who
Mahdi,
said it. I'm
listen to
saying
me.
we are living in a
No,
world
Mahdi,
that there are
listen
many
to-
buildings,
Mahdi,
not
listen to
only
me.
one.
Listen to me. I don't care about the cameras.
Oh, I don't. I'm
Okay.
just saying that
So
you
you're-
can go on.
That's the problem. Now what you need to do is there needs to be some honesty from you.
Yeah.
Okay? If there was only one building in the world, you still would say that this building has been built.
No, hold on. We
If there
are
is-
we
one
are
second,
in a
one
world
second.
that there are
If-
many
if
buildings.
the-
There's no
if-
only one
second.
building.
Let me finish my sentence.
on.
The universe, the world that we see around us, exhibits design. It shows this property. Now, you have to either you can give me 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. Let me finish. Let me finish my sentence. Let me finish
Okay.
my sentence. So either you can explain to me where the design came from, without the designer.
Okay.
Either you can explain to me that, or you have to
Okay.
accept the concept that there is a designer for the designer.
Listen.
So tell me.
Okay. Wait. Hold on a second. If I was a designer, there are many things. Why would a designer? Yeah.
Before you
hold
change
on.
it, you're changing the topic.
You
First,
asked me.
answer my question, please, Mehdi.
You asked me for a designer.
No,
I'm
I
telling
never-
you,
no,
if
I
there is
said
a
this-
designer, is a
Mehdi,
stupid designer.
Mehdi, listen to my question.
Because the design is not so good.
Mehdi, listen to my question. You're not answering my question.
That's your question.
What is my
Go
question?
Ask it again.
Mehdi, the universe that we see around us, everything that we see exhibits design. We can see it.
No.
Now,
it's
1
not
second, let me finish my
design. I'm just
sentence.
telling you, no, it doesn't exhibit design.
Okay, so it doesn't exhibit design?
No.
Nothing at all. Random.
No. It's more likely to be random than design.
What's random?
No, listen. I'm just
So tell
saying
me.
it is not
No,
design.
1 second. What do you mean by random?
No, you just a word that you throw, and I said is more likely to be random.
What
I
do you
didn't
mean
say it
by
is
that?
random. But I'm just saying,
No,
if
but
there
you're-
was, it's not a
Mehdi,
design.
Mehdi,
Listen,
Mehdi,
you
Mehdi.
asked me if it's
No,
a
I didn't
design.
say
I'm
this.
saying it's not a design.
I'm asking you
know,
to
and
explain-
you want to listen why it is not a design?
Okay, go on then. Are you going to answer the question, or are you going to just be rude like this?
No, excuse me.
You're being rude. You're not allowing the conversation.
Why am I being rude?
I'll explain to you.
Hold on.
I'll explain to you.
No. You
Uh,
just
do you want me to
you're
tell?
just telling me
do you want me
I'm
to tell
rude,
you?
and I'm telling you
I'm
why.
I'm telling you. You want me to tell
Why
you?
do you tell me I'm rude?
Do
I
you
have
want?
not said
Do you
anything
want me
rude.
to tell you why I said that?
Yeah, go
Do you
on,
want me to
me.
tell you why I said
me.
that? Because what you're doing is you're talking and you're stopping like this and you're looking at me.
No, who do you want me to look at when
So-
I'm talking? We are.
What I would like you to do.
We're having a face-to-face
what I would like.
conversation.
What I would like.
Of course,
What I would
look
like
at
you to
when I
do.
talk
What
to
I would
you.
like you to do is to. What I would like to do is actually respond to the question I asked you.
And
I asked you very specifically about. We see the design. It's there. Now you.
And I said it's not a design.
You said there's no design.
Oh.
Okay, so your circulation system doesn't have a function. There's no design in that.
I didn't say it doesn't function. I
It has
said
no
there's
design.
no design.
Okay, so
If it was a design, it's a stupid design.
What? Tell me why.
Why?
Tell me why.
Why the designer made a design that in Africa, African people are suffering?
I'm talking
Because
about.
I'm not
I'm talking
having-
about
no.
your heart. I'm talking about your heart.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah,
What
tell me
about my
circulation.
heart? You
I'm
change
talking
this-
about
No,
no.
from the world we go to my
No,
heart.
no. I went from the heart. You went to the world.
No. You
You went
we were
from the
talking
heart to
about the
Africa.
world.
You went from the heart to
No.
Africa.
We were talking about the world.
No,
Now-
we're talking about
okay,
design.
why are you
We're talking about the
my
design.
heart? Design of what? Design of my
Your
heart?
circulation system. Tell me what's wrong with it.
What do you mean?
You
what?
said there's no design in your circulation system.
Did you?
You said.
I never said we were not talking. Even us, even human being design. What?
Is it designed?
No. What kind
Tell me
of?
about your
no,
heart.
hold on.
Tell me
What
about
kind-
your heart.
Okay.
Mehdi, tell me about your.
Okay.
Mehdi, tell me
Listen.
about Mehdi.
You
tell me about
okay,
your heart.
Okay, if you
Te-
keep quiet for a
no,
second.
You
if
have to, because what you're
You ask
doing
the
is
question,
this
let
is the
me
problem.
answer
The
you.
problem we're having, Mehdi, is we're not actually talking in the line.
No.
You said that there's no design.
And you threw it to
You
my
said-
heart.
so
and
I said, okay,
why are
you
we talking about
have
our
your
heart?
cir-
We
you
were
have-
talking about the world.
Talk about the solar system, universe. tell
Okay,
me.
yes.
Anything.
Now, okay.
Solar
Okay,
system.
now you want to go about human being? Okay.
Solar system. Either we're talking about design. So either heart or the solar system. You tell me about design.
Okay. You want the solar system, the Earth, solar system? Okay. Why has it designed solar system the way that it is? What is the use of Mars? What is the use of Pluto? What is the use of all those planets that has no living creature on it? They're just going around for nothing. For what? If that was a design on purpose, then what is the purpose of it?
So you don't know the purpose.
No,
of it.
no, you tell. No. If it's a designer,
second.
no, if it's somebody who designed it for our sake, then there should be purpose to those. But I'm just saying there is no designer.
Are you?
This
no,
is
no.
the way that the world it is.
1 second.
yes?
I'm talking about the universe. You said this. You said that things are purposeless. Yeah?
No.
You said
no.
Mars has no purpose.
There's no purpose in life. There's no purpose in anything. This is the way
Why?
it is.
Why are you here then?
What do you mean? Why am I?
If your life is without any purpose, why are you not relaxing?
Accidentally.
Why
I'm
are you?
here.
No.
I'm-
You're not hearing my question. Why are
You're
you
just asking me why
I
are you
haven't
here?
finished-
I'm just
you didn't-
answering
you
you
didn't-
and
no,
say
you didn't.
no.
You didn't answer my. You didn't hear the question I
Go
asked
on,
you.
go on.
Maybe.
Ask the question.
You didn't even
again.
hear the question I asked
Go
you.
on, go on.
You want to hear the question I
Go on
asked you?
again. Go on.
If your life is purposeless, your life, yeah, is meaningless, purposeless.
I did not say my life is meaningless.
said
I have
just
every
now.
meaning in my life.
You said
but
that
there's
right
no
now.
hold on. The purpose that you are talking about, you mean somebody made us for a purpose? No, it's not that way. In my life, I make a purpose for my life.
So you arbitrarily make it up, yeah?
No. You said, why are we here? I said, we are here accidentally.
That's not what I asked you, Mahdi. I'm talking about you, with your life that was made up, yeah? The accidents. There's no reason you're here.
We are all here accidentally.
You're talking about yourself. Everything was an accident.
No.
There's no.
I tell you why.
Well, let me finish my sentence. Let me finish. I haven't asked a question.
Go on.
I'm making a statement.
Go on.
Do you want me to make the statement?
Go on.
Or you just like to argue?
And this will be your last question, and you let me answer it before you jump to something else. Because the minute I go to answer you, you change the question. What's the point of you asking different questions?
You talk for 5 minutes.
No. There's no 5
I'm going
minutes.
to time
if
you.
Ask it, no.
I'm going to time you because you're making this statement over and over again.
If you ask
2 minutes, I'm timing you.
If you ask a question, you wait until your question is answered. Now you can ask your question and you wait for the question to be answered. Yeah. Otherwise, you don't change your question from one thing to another. Yeah?
You've got 1 minute 45 seconds.
Go on, ask your question.
1 minute 45 seconds.
For what? Ask your question because you asked me too many questions and I don't know which one to answer right now. You asked me too many questions. Okay, let's say my answer is finished. You're gone. Because you have to ask me the question all over again. You asked too many questions.
Cowards. So this is a clearly an atheistic person who was a bit of a nihilist, who was actually trying to disrupt the Dawah. So I took the person to the side and was having a conversation with them. And very interesting thing is this sort of slipping from point to point and not sticking with principles that he'd made. So the first principle that he made was that to believe something exists, you need to see it. So we gave the example of the brain, and he wasn't able to produce evidence that his brain existed. And what he said was, I can see other brains, and because there are injuries to brains, that tells us that the brains are involved in thinking. And then we talked about, we made the point of correlation, something being correlated. So that means if you see something happening and something else happening at the same time, how can we say that they are linked to each other? At this point, he didn't seem to understand this. And then we move on to a concept that we can see design in things, and that would indicate a designer. Gave the example of buildings, and I gave an example of there being design within the universe. What then happened is that he said, actually, we've only seen one universe. How are you making the assumption that there's design? So when we gave the analogy of there being a building on its own in the world, how would you know that single building is designed? He didn't want to engage with this point because he knew that it would make his way of thinking become illogical. And then unfortunately, the rapport broke down and the conversation sort of ended. But it became a little bit sort of just a phase of denial. So this is what really nihilism can take you to. The idea that your world is purposeless, just an accident. It makes you purposeless and just an accident. So what you end up doing is actually having a life where you make arbitrary meaning. And the question really I was asking him, if somebody thinks that their life is without any purpose, why are you here on a Sunday evening having conversations with people? But we never really got to that. But hopefully that was a useful thing, and maybe you will benefit from the conversation. Assalamu alaikum.